Good afternoon, everybody. Please continue to enjoy your meals. I know that the food looks great, so please help yourself. I just wanted to say a few words before we get started here. I really appreciate everybody that came out this afternoon and this morning. It's been a fantastic event. We had a great turnout of golfers. We had an incredible turnout with sponsors. I want to say thank you to everybody that participated, everybody that sponsored. I'd really like to say thank you to our committee. Anybody on the committee, could you please stand? Because you've done an incredible job for this event this year, and I'd like to acknowledge you. If you could, please stand. Thank you, honestly. It means a whole lot. And specifically, Tim and Emily Marshall, you guys have done a fantastic job. You guys have really championed this event, so thank you. One thing we did want to do was make sure that the weather was good, so that's a check for us. And I won't take much of your time, so I want to pass it over to Sheriff Jerry Clayton for a few words.
Good afternoon. So first, can we give Howard a hand? His commitment to So I'll be brief. I titled my comments here is Breaking the Cycle Requires a Community Investment. So we appreciate the investment that's been made today in telling it. I think as an overall community, we need to balance, right? We need to know that we need to have strategies to address the traditional way that we address challenges in our community. From an enforcement standpoint, from a social services standpoint, all those things are important. But I think we only realize our fullest potential as a community when we think proactive and strategically, when we focus on root causes, when we understand that the only way we can break the cycle that continues to hold not just the most vulnerable community, people in the community, but our entire community, once we realize that we must invest in traditional reactive, but we must be proactive. We must invest in the fundamental strategies that address the challenges throughout all of our community. We'll focus on Washtenaw County, but we're talking about everywhere. And Telling It is one of those fundamental programs. What I appreciate about Telling It is this: it's proactive, so we're reaching out to some of our young folks before certain things happen and they end up in system where they have to deal with my profession. And equally as important, it meets our young folks where they are. And I think that's critically important. Not just from a geographical standpoint, they take the services to the different parts of the community in Washtenaw County. But what I think is more important is they meet our young folks where they are emotionally and spiritually. They don't force them to engage right away. They build trust with our young folks. And by building trust, it creates the environment where they're willing to share parts of themselves with others. And I think that sharing is therapeutic. And I think that sharing allows them to reflect on their current experiences, but more importantly, what their future holds. I'll leave you with this. In my 30 years, I've looked into the eyes of some young folks that did not have hope. And that's scary on a number of propositions. That's scary for them, but it's also scary for our larger community. Our future is predicated on our young folks having hope and seeing where they fit in the larger architecture of not only Washtenaw County, but in the United States. We will realize our fullest potential in Washtenaw County when we continue to invest in our young folks. When we build them up, we give them hope. When we engage them in a way where they trust us and they're willing to share with us, build upon themselves, and then go out and be contributing members in the community. So again, thank you to Howard. Thank you to Telling It for what you do. And thank you for all of you, because you gave, although it wasn't real hard to give up yourself today in terms of the golf, but you've given up yourselves in terms of other things. Financial is important. So continue to support Howard in his fundraisers and continue to support Telling It. Thank you very much. Enjoy the rest of your meal. I was so anxious to go and eat, I forgot to to introduce Deb, who is the vision, her and Emily, but she's the vision and the architect for Telling It. So Deb, a few words.
So thank you, Sheriff Clayton, for those really kind words, for your support for Telling It over these past 5 years, and for your leadership in Washtenaw County. My name is Deb Gordon-Gurfinkel, and I'm the founding director of Telling It. I'm going to take a few minutes to thank some very important people, describe what we do in the program, and then hand you over to Meisha Martin, one of the skilled and dedicated Telling It social workers. Thank you all so much for participating in today's charity golf event and for your generous donations. Thank you to Howard Holmes II for selecting Telling It again to be the beneficiary of the 2017 Charity Golf Invitational. Hello. Telling It has been operating in Washtenaw County since 2002. And through our partnerships with community agencies such as shelter organization SOS Community Services, Avalon Housing, Park Ridge Community Center, the Washtenaw County Sheriff's Office, and Ypsilanti Community Middle School, we have served over 900 school-aged youth. Another of our partners is the University of Michigan's Residential College, where I teach an engaged learning course called Empowering Community Through the Arts that provides student interns at the Telling It sites. As a trauma-informed program, Telling It pays close attention to the ways that trauma, either sustained or a single act, impacts the developing brains of children and teenagers, compromising their ability to cope with day-to-day stresses, to learn and to advocate for themselves. In response to adverse childhood experiences such as abuse, housing and food insecurity, violence, loss of a parent to death or incarceration, underperforming schools, and pressure to join gangs, Telling It uses an innovative blend of best practices from social work and education filtered through the arts so that the youth we serve can lead safe, healthy, and fulfilling lives. Each Telling It site is staffed by a site leader, a social worker, and a group of trained team members who, in collaboration with resident artists, meet weekly with a group of no more than 12 youth to engage in a wide range of arts-based activities such as creative writing, visual art, music, and so on. The structure of the sessions are designed to meet the youth where they are and invite them to participate in multiple platforms of expression that will best serve their individual needs. The groups are kept small on purpose so that a level of safety and mutual trust can be established. As a result of this family-style environment and with no censorship on subject matter and language, barring hate language, the young people share candidly about their realities and hopes for the future. Telling It does not give a voice to the voiceless, but rather we understand that each youth has an existing voice and is the expert of his or her own experience. Our job is to support the youth as they explore the ways in which their voices can be best heard. New skills and ideas are introduced that may alter a young person's worldview and even the choices they make. Meisha will tell you more about the impact of the program from a personal and professional perspective. But if you could indulge me for just a moment, I would like to acknowledge the incredible people that staff Telling It, some of whom are here today. If you could stand so we could appreciate you. In closing, and before I relinquish the microphone to Meisha, I'd like to share a short poem written by an 11-year-old girl that participates in Telling It at Park Ridge Community Center. Dear Daddy, Daddy, I miss you. Forget all those people who want to diss you. It hurts me deep inside. I'm trying to hold it in, knowing I want to cry. When the sun shines, I'm looking up in the sky, and the heavens is a perfect place for you because your favorite color is blue. I'm your chocolate baby. When they look at me, they look at you. Yeah, you was locked up, but those tattoos couldn't cover up your love. I miss those warm hugs. It set me free when I saw who you was. I remember when we used to be funny just because. Now, if it was up to me, there is no other man like you. There couldn't be. Your financial support makes it possible for us to continue offering the program. Thank you so, so, so much. Now please welcome Meisha Martin.
Hello, my name is Meisha Martin. I am one of the social workers at Telling It. I have been a practicing social worker for 3 years and a member of the Telling It team for 1 year. As Deb mentioned, I am going to share my personal and professional perspective on how I think the Telling It program impacts the youth we serve. Growing up in a low-income community, after-school programs were an essential part of my growth and development. My mother gave birth to me at the age of 12, sadly as a result of sexual assault. She faced many different barriers in caring for me. Social workers and after-school programs were necessities in my day-to-day life. I admired the caring individuals who supported my mother through school and then eventually nursing school. She was the first in her family to graduate college. They identified risk factors and partnered with my mother so she could become a successful nurse and raise a healthy family. We, all of us, need support at some time in our life. Being a social worker for Telling It, it has a deeper meaning for me. My passion outweighs statistics and the labels that are given to the youth in the areas that we serve. The difference between Telling It and many other after-school programs that I am familiar with is the degree of safety and sharing that is made possible by the group dynamic that is formed at each site. Deb makes sure that each member of the team, community partners, interns, site leaders, and social workers have a clear understanding of trauma-informed care. We ensure that the Telling It program is run from a strengths-based perspective in order to genuinely meet youth where they are. Telling It provides a safe place for youth to be who they are and express what they want through the arts, games, and literacy. The program allows youth to have leadership opportunities and an outlet for other things that they may never get to say at home or in school. Protection, happiness are a priority. One success story that stands out to me is that of an 11-year-old lady who regularly attended Telling It. In the past, she had experienced a sexual assault, and through her time with the program, she was actively able to process her emotions through her writings without fear of being judged. Each session, she would have an individual team member specifically assigned to her so she could process her thoughts and emotions. In my opinion, Telling It was critical for this young lady's self-esteem and for her reframing her identity. At the end of the program, she was able to recognize that the things that had happened to her did not define her. I have benefited personally from interventions and have seen how they have affected my mother. As a social worker, I am able to identify the powerful and innovative methods used in Telling It and see that they have profound and long-lasting effect on the participating youth. This is why your financial support to the communities that receive Telling It services are so important. We cannot thank you enough.
Wow. I'd like to say thank you to Sheriff Clayton. Those words were very impactful. And Deb, thank you for providing some more insight about Telling It. It's a powerful program that I think people need to continue to hear about. And Meisha, that was impressive. Thank you. Very well done. The event has been focused on benefiting youth and the next generation for as long as it's been around. And I can't think of another beneficiary better than Telling It, based on not only what we've heard today, but the great things that they do every day in the communities that you're set up in. It's a real powerful story, and I'm very proud to be a part of it. It's been fantastic. Thank you again, everyone, the committee, the sponsors, the participants. Thank you for coming out, dedicating your time, your effort, your resources. It's been a special day. So I do want to get to the people that played the best out there today. We do have some trophies to give you, some hardware to go home with. Third place is Joe Sesi, Mike Parkin, John Kennard, and Dave Kennard. Please come up. Yeah, they finished with a 60. Excellent score. The second place today, we have R.J. Grimshaw, Tim Bazzer, Donnie Slauson, and Jeff Tukey. Thank you. With a 60 as well. First place with a 59, impressive score. Rick Mullick, Sean Allen, Nick Ardy, and Rocky Mullendor. Please come up. And then the Low women's team today, Jacqueline Klein, Nancy Segrist, Barb Fielder, and Beth Taylor. Please come up. So again, please enjoy the rest of the food. I really appreciate you coming out today. And thank you to everyone that participated. It was a real pleasure. Thank you.